elections, and we have members of the board here. I know probably all three members of the board, as well as Mr. Michael Leys, the director. Michael, I'll ask you to come up, and if you want to recognize anybody, you're welcome to do so. Good to see you this morning.
Thank you. I would like to thank our board for being here this morning. I'd like to also thank the commissioners for the help in allowing us to use this room during our elections, especially during one stop. It really helps alleviate costs and provides a nice professional atmosphere for voters to come in and vote. I was asked to be here this morning to respond to an email that we received from Commissioner John Goudreau. The email reads, quote, "Very disappointed in the delay of reporting again. The Board of Elections has let the people down again. We need a true recount. We need a true recount of all ballots cast in this election, not just lip service as done in the past. Please have all records on display for the public, and yes, this should be brought to the commissioners on the scheduled 11/17 meeting with the total results. The delays in reporting your board displays are unacceptable and need to be explained," unquote. I have prepared a response. First off, there was no delay in reporting because we did not offer a schedule or commit to have the results by any certain time. We do everything we can to get the results available to the public as soon as possible, but that's all we can do. Second, I'm not sure exactly how the Board of Elections has let the people down. Our office posted results as soon as we had them, and even printed the results to read in this very room for those who were anxiously waiting. By the way, I want to thank Jim Smith for taking the opportunity to read those results. He's got a nice voice for that. As far as results being available on the internet, the only delays had to do with the bandwidth and was nothing to do with the timely report that was uploaded. The state at that time had gone through extensive testing with all the counties throughout the state, and we had a lot of great success. However, the service provider was not able to, for whatever reason, provide the bandwidth that was required. I try to make every effort to be diplomatic when answering questions and serving our public, but just to be sure that my remarks are not construed as lip service, I will be blunt and direct. John, you don't have the right to demand a recount. And I don't know what records you want displayed, but we will not be providing anything more than we are legally permitted to do. And most of that has already been displayed and provided. Furthermore, and with all due respect to our commissioners, the Board of Elections does not answer to county commissioners. We truly do work toward and want to have a positive relationship with the county commissioners, but to do so would be contrary to the separation of government and would contradict the very idea of a fair election. Finally, I can personally attest that our state Board of Elections works very hard to ensure that a fair and accurate election takes place. They have 100 counties to support and over 10 million people throughout the state to disseminate information to. The reporting system that they have put together is a very good one, and the only problems, as I mentioned, had to do with the ISPs not providing enough bandwidth for the State Board of Elections. Technical difficulties are part of our life. It's going to happen in any industry. Unfortunately, we are no exception to that, but we do work with the best that we have and do the best that we can with what we have. As far as our local Board of Elections, we have 44 people from our community, including our board members, who have more or less volunteered their time, get 2 hours of training once every 2 years, work very hard, and put in a very long day so that the elections can take place. That comes to over 1,000 hours, of which were ridiculed and unacceptable, especially from someone who, the best I can tell, has never even worked the polls. What they do deserve is support and appreciation for their public service rather than a sideline critic. Let me remind you that the separation of government bodies is for a reason, and that chair you're sitting in is one of public service, not a throne for you to taunt authority. And the this attitude and behavior is suited for is just down the hall. I will not tolerate this kind of slander, implied or otherwise, towards our board, our office, and the many, many people in our community have worked so hard and put in so much time to make this election a success. There has not been one time that anyone, including several of our commissioners, have come into our office when they were not received with respect and given our full attention. This level of service is what we are committed to provide and require no less. If there are any more questions or concerns, we will be more than happy to address them. In conclusion, we are happy to report that it looks like we will be coming in under budget. This is the first time we have used students. We had 9 students help us out at the polls this year, and each one of them was a great asset. We really look forward to using them in the future. Information regarding requesting a recount has been provided to anyone that qualifies for that recount. We have a deadline of 5 o'clock today for our local contests, and we have a deadline of 5 o'clock tomorrow for a state. So at this point, we don't have any directions on when that will take place or how it will take place. We have to wait for state guidelines. We do have one legitimate request for a recount, and as soon as we get directions, we'll address that. Just for your information, statistics, we have 7,244 registered voters in our county. 4,337 votes were cast, of which 2,239 were during one stop, which comes to just about 52%. We have noticed statewide that there's a growing impact in the one-stop voting. And some of the goals that we have as a board to help cut costs and to reduce expenses will have to do with these numbers right here as we look at consolidating precincts and looking at the populations in the county. Are there any other questions?
Any questions?
I would have one question.
Yes, ma'am.
This is just hearsay. I heard that some of the machines at Ennis didn't work in Glade Creek.
We did have 3 machines total that gave us some problems. One during one stop. Turns out it was a video card. It was just the screen that was giving us some problems. In Piney Creek, we had one machine that went down on us. There's the printing mechanism, and they're jammed up. And then we also had, there was one other one in Glade Creek that we had some problems with the printers jamming up as well. The fortunate side is the contract that we have with our vendor, they're going to take care of repairs at no additional cost. But these are old machines, and we're hoping that some of the systems that we can present and provide in the future will kind of do away with these things as well and cut costs. The maintenance cost alone is just astronomically ridiculous. But at this point, we only have one vendor in the entire state providing this equipment, and the state's working on getting us some more vendors, and I've been hounding them quite relentlessly about that. That's just not good business. So.
Do you feel the vote count was compromised due to these,
No.
malfunctions?
The machines that we have 3 redundancies. They don't back up one another per se, but they do record in 3 different areas the results. You have a flash card that fits in the top of the machine. It records everything that comes through. For example, the machine that we had in Glade Creek, when it jammed up the printer, there was a period there where it actually quit printing. It just stopped, and the poll workers at the time did not realize it because there was no warnings. But the little boxes that they use when they put into those machines to allow a person to log on, those at the end of the day goes to each machine, and it's a master PEB that pulls down and records all the votes. That's one of the redundancies that we have. The other is a flash card at the top that it's just like a thumb drive that records everything. So you have 3 sources to pull from in case there's any problems whatsoever.
And they all matched?
Yes. We actually had an audit last Monday where the state sent us the requirements, but it actually comes from an outside source. It doesn't come from the state board. And we were given 2 precincts, Glade Creek and Whitehead, and the contest that we were given was the U.S. Senate. We pull out those paper rolls, and we do a hand-to-eye count and match it with the results. With the case of Glade Creek, it was only one machine that we had problems with, so we were able to print those results off just via a regular printer and hand-eye count those as well. With the recount that may or may not happen, one of the options that the state may impose on us is another hand-to-eye count, which would be at least one precinct and one contest. I have to check on it. As far as I know, these are all public meetings. Anyone can come and observe, kind of like the provisional vote that we had the other day. We had quite a few people observe. And the only thing we ask is that everybody just kind of be quiet and respectful so that we don't lose count. Last thing we want is to mess something like that up.
Thank you.
Oh, Michael, I am very appreciative of the job you do and all the people you do and the board as well. I know all three members of the Board of Elections are here as well as representatives from both parties. I in no way was trying to be slanderous to you or anyone on the board. I do remind you, though, I am a taxpayer of Alleghany County, and the Board of Elections and all of us report to those taxpayers. I do appreciate your report. It was very informative. I wish you would have had the information that Commissioner Leys, asked you about the, I guess, the concerns at the precincts. Those were a couple of the precincts that did have delays. Yes, on the internet, maybe it was bandwidth, and that's fine. But again, I do appreciate your service and, everyone in the community. And thank you. It was a good report.
Thank you.
Any other comments, folks? Michael, thank you very much for